Welcome back to the Milwaukee Show, and today is the Colorado Avalanche and their season preview, as this is a team that climbed the hill all the way to the top and claimed the grandest prize of all of hockey, the most beautiful trophy, the Stanley Cup. And then last year, they failed to do the same exact thing, losing in the first round. But it was not a surprise after their 109-point season, 51-24-7 record. With their 11th in NHL goals for and 9th in goals against, 9th best in goals against, the team falls in the very first round of the Seattle Kraken. And it was not that much of a surprise, because the whole year I was shouting, as long as some other people, but I was standing my ground and saying that this team, when it comes to offensive depth, this is going to hurt them a lot. Because looking at the Avalanche, looking at the Lightning, what do these teams have in common to win the Stanley Cup? And to me, it's literally everything. Defensively, offensively, goaltending. Offense, you need heroes and superstars, but depth especially. Defense, you need shutdown guys, but people that can jump up and add to the offense, right? And goaltending. Really, you need everything that makes you the best team in the NHL. And the Avs did exactly that 2 years ago, but then went into last year not knowing that lesson, apparently, as offensively, McKinnon having an 111-point season, finally breaking the 100-point mark, and really staking his claim to the ground in 71 games. What if he played that extra 11? He's getting to 125 points? The team was on fire when it came to their superstars, but then came the lack of anybody else, with Landeskog, Nazem Kadri, Andre Burakovsky gone, at JT Compher not really being a replacement for Nazem Kadri, Alex Newhook not really being a replacement for Andre Burakovsky, and this team fails with their lack of offensive depth. So how have they gone and remade themselves to pack up and gear for this year? And I gotta say, I really like what this team has done. I think they've done exactly the most that they could have done to fix this team's depth issue and keep this team together, and I really like the risks that they're taking, because they're definitely risks. So let's tackle the first one on this top line, where I have Jonathan Drouin slotted in on that first line with Nathan MacKinnon, his dynamo duo that he used to have in the juniors, and Mikko Rantanen. Drouin, 29 points last season, 2 goals only with the Montreal Canadiens. Didn't play a lot of games, but when he did, he was getting a lot of assists, and especially with MacKinnon and Rantanen. He is definitely, no matter what, is going to make those point totals go up. But I don't think this isn't going to be one of those times where he changes teams and he's back with his partner and he's going to get to 80 points. But I do think he can get those goals numbers from 2 especially up there, right? When it comes to this line, it's all offense, right? Rantanen, 55 goals, somehow under the radar goal scorer. 55 goals this year. I think he was at 49 the year before. Rantanen is completely underrated. MacKinnon, obviously, we all know the story about him. Whether you think he's a top 2, he's at least a top 5 in the NHL, because top 2 is in top 5. So I hate when people have that debate when they're like, top 5, he's top 2. He's still in the top 5. But anyways, that's a whole thing. MacKinnon, just a superstar, and I think he's only going to get better. I think he is, especially in this world of the NHL we're in now, with it being more about offense. I think 100 points up is what McKinnon's going to do as long as he stays healthy. And with Drouin, I think he's going to have a little bit more of a fire with him, especially at the beginning of the year. I think maybe things might trail off towards the end, but I think at the beginning, Drouin is going to have a lot of fire to try to make things happen. And I think him, Rantanen, MacKinnon all pair together, and I think it's just going to be offense, offense, offense when it comes to that line. Just scoring, score every game. Would not be a surprise at all. These three right here, I think will be a solid line, which is perfect to add Lehkonen to the second line and make the second line better than it was last year. Last year with JT Compher and Alex Newhook, or however they had the lines combined, with Nichushkin, but then he missed a lot of the year. it was the second line was a little bit not special, but I like what they've done now. Nichushkin being back last year with 47 points only in 53 games. This guy, he's a big guy. He can move the puck. One of the better puck like movers in the league, and I feel like people like, not as in like he's got speed or like this great skill, but like he's very good when the puck is on his stick. Other guys can't knock it off of him. I've noticed that with Nichushkin, very hard to knock it off, and him being the anchor of this line with Ryan Johansson being the centerman, getting him from Nashville. Now I would have liked to see Colorado sit on their hands for a second and wait for Matt Duchene to be on the market to sign him, but then the Stars got him. But I think Duchene would have been like perfect. But because they missed it, Ryan Johansson is here, and I think he's going to be I think he's going to be a solid hit, but he's not going to be like a star, right? Because he can be like a 70, 80 point guy, but I don't think Johansson's that guy anymore. I think being kind of like in the 40s or 50s is more of his speed. Maybe he does get to 70, maybe, but I kind of doubt it. I think being a 40s to 50 guy is solid for Ryan Johansson with his veteranship. Lehkonen being on that second line, 21 goals last year, 51 points. The second line I really like because Nichushkin can anchor it all on his own. He can be that solid guy who's on the ice. Lehkonen being the secondary and Johansson being the veteran there. I really like that. I really like what this second line that they've got going on. With the risk with Johansson and Drouin, it could be really bad, right? But I don't think so. I think Johansson's going to go back to a good and passable, exceptionable points production. Drouin is, once again, when it comes to these two guys, it's all offense, right? Johansson's not bringing any defensive prowess. It's an offense machine, right? When it comes to Drouin, same thing. He's not playing defense. This guy's going to be producing, going to be getting in those plays, right? And that is what those guys bring. But they did tackle some defensive issues with Miles Wood, Ross Colton, and Logan O'Connor. Colton and Miles Wood, this third line being the tactical line, the shutdown line, not shutdown, but being good defensively, being good at both ends of the ice, right? They're not going to be like the shutdown machines. They're not going to be like the Stahl, Fost, and Martinook line in Carolina that they can throw them out there and they're shutting down the other team, blocking a bunch of shots, right? But these guys, Wood, Colton, and O'Connor, they're younger sort of guys. I mean, not super young, but younger. These are the back and forth guys, right? These are both ends of the ice. They're going to be blocking shots, but also looking to score goals. Miles Wood, he's got all the skill to maybe break out into a solid point producer, but he just never does. But he's one of those 100% energy guys that goes out there, is going to get the team going with a big hit, nice play, good block shot, make a nice move, but never put in the back of the net. So hopefully a guy like Ross Colton with his playoff experience and just experience overall with the Tampa Bay Lightning coming to Colorado with 32 points last year, he's someone that is gonna be trying hard to go up the lineup, as he's kind of the replacement for Alex Newhook, and I think it's a solid one because Newhook is definitely a top 6 guy in the NHL, but not with the Avalanche, because the Avalanche need to win now. This is their window now, and they can't wait for Newhook to be an under average second liner and wait 2 years till he is a bona fide top 6, right? They need a solid guy now, and Ross Colton, to me, is definitely a middle 6 player, and he's once again a solid both ways but experienced guy that is going to bring a lot of heart, a lot of fight, and interesting goals, with Logan O'Connor kind of being that just whatever, good enough last guy on the third line there. This is going to be the chippy line where they're going to be playing for these spots, right? They're going to be playing to get those pay raises. They're going to, well, I guess not pay raises anymore, but these guys are they're out there to earn their spot and stay in the NHL and be like, hey, I'm good. Maybe if we suck one year, someone might want me next year, right? Or something like that. Or I'm playing to be promoted to that second line if Johansson doesn't pay out, right? What if Lehkonen falls off a cliff? I want that second line spot. Or the first line if Drouin doesn't pay off, right? So there's a lot of, these guys are going to be fighting for their spots, and the third line being that tactical line I really like for the Avs. But then the fourth line is where things get rough. With Cogliano, Myers, and Olofsson. Not much to really say. Myers and Olofsson, Myers got 4 goals, but so what? Olofsson with 4 points. I was looking at this team, and I don't really have any reason to put anyone else in these positions. Like Foodie could be the guy that goes in the center spot, but he's like, there's really no reason to say him over Myers. This line is straight up a San Jose Sharks line. Like, this is the fourth line of the San Jose Sharks, which is not good. But I don't see this team getting a lot of time on ice. This line literally might get like 3 to 5 minutes, like maybe, because I don't see them rolling them. The top 3 I really like, though. With all offense first line, a solid, with Lehkonen and Nichushkin kind of being more especially Nichushkin being a stronger guy in the puck. I really like the second. Third line being that tactical, hard fighting line, especially for the playoffs. I really like that. Then the fourth line, just never put them out there except when everyone needs a breather, right? So the fourth line, I'm not even going to really, knock that against them because I don't see them getting a lot of time on ice. Offensively, love it, especially going from their 11th in the NHL last year, best scoring goals. They're definitely better than that, and they're definitely going to break the top 10. Maybe I'd see them as the 7th best scoring team, especially if Johansson and Drouin can pop off and really be who I think they can be. I think goals for, they go up from 274 to at least whatever. I think they could end up in 7th this year. But then defense. Defense. It may be my favorite defense in the NHL is the Colorado Avalanche. Because to me, I love puck-moving defensemen that can break out the puck fast and just I think the best defense is a great offense, and this team is that exact definition. With Taves and Makar, Taves being that shutdown, great defensively, but can still put up points with 50 points last year, mainly because he's on the ice with McKinnon and Makar and Rantanen on the ice at the same time, but whatever. But Makar and Taves, when they get the puck on their sticks, if they can easily get it out of their zone. And that's how this team plays. That onslaught style of offense is how they play, with hitters from behind with Taves, Makar, Girard, and Byram. When those guys are on the ice, they can send it to the net, and the offensemen of Drin, McKinnon, Rantanen, Shushkin, Johansson, Lehkonen, they're going to be pounding the net with the puck, right? And with Taves, Makar, Girard, and Byram, with these guys, if they get the puck on their stick behind the net, they're breaking that thing up the ice, and they're going back down the other end of the zone to score a goal, right? And that is why I love the Avalanche being such a solid overall team. With the goaltenders in net like Georgiev and Francouz. Georgiev, 40 wins, 16 losses last year, is a pretty solid record with a 2.53 and a .918. Solid numbers. Francouz is a fine backup. I'm not going to knock it against them, but I will say Georgiev in the playoffs was definitely an issue. His playoff performance was horrendous. And I don't know if that was just because the heat was finally on and Colorado's weaknesses showed up, so he was kind of finally pressed more than he usually is. But whatever it was, Georgiev was definitely not the goaltender that this team needed to win the Stanley Cup. But I think that more have been that he was being really, I don't know, the goals he let in were pretty weak. But Georgiev is fine. He's fine for now. But I love the defense. Plus 39 for Devon Taves, the best plus and minus on this team. Shutdown guy who can still get up points. Makar, 66 points in 60 games played. He can do it at both ends of the ice. And sometimes it's guys like Makar where his skill of playing offense is also so good at playing defense as well. His stick work, he can use the body, he can outmaneuver guys and play better defense than they can do offense, and that is why he's so good. Makar, I mean, it must be so nice to be an Avs fan, and you've got McKinnon and Makar on the same team with Rantanen. I mean, it's just unreal what this team has in store for them, and still has on the second line guys like Girard, who isn't the best. He was a -10 last year, only 37 points, but it's still a solid 1-2 punch when you've got Taves and Makar, and then you've got Byram back there as well. And then the third line pairing of Josh Manson and Jack Johnson is solid as well. For me, the Avalanche, a team that has done a very good job of addressing their issues, but with some risks, right? Because as I look at this team, I'm like, I like it. I like what they've done. I think Drouin's going to definitely have a better season than he did. Johansson, same thing. Ross Colton and Wood being that third line, solid. Defensively, still one of the best in the league. Goaltending-wise, great. Great. Is this team going... This is a team that no matter what happens, makes the playoffs, right? So the question really is, how far do they go? Do they win the first round? I think with their additions and how almost they did it last year, I think absolutely. Second round is where things could get interesting because a team like the Stars could knock this team out, especially if Jake Ottinger shows up. But if they get past them, do they beat the Central Pacific Division? I think this team does beat them. And so my opinion is that they get first round hands down done. Second and finals is where I see them having issues because I think this team beats whoever they do in the conference finals. And I think it's up to the second and the finals for them to get knocked out. Do they win the Stanley Cup? I could see it happening. I think I would like to see a couple trade deadline acquisitions to help pad the fourth line. But other than that, this team is solid offensively. The onslaught offense is still there. It's even better. And goals against was already solid last year. I think it's just going to get better. And Makar and Nichushkin playing hopefully full seasons. This team is just unreal. Unreal. The Avalanche... They could have won the Stanley Cup last year. It's just of their own arrogance and ignorance that they didn't make the right decisions to fix this team. But I think they've done a good job, and I think they're going to be better, and I'm excited for this team. Only praise for this team except the fourth line. That is pretty weak. But other than that, I guess that's all I got to say. So thank you for watching this. If you've made it this far, please, I'm begging you, pick up your free subscription. And until next time, too sweet. Have an amazing day, and ta-ta for now.